so the idea is that you use a ruler to get a dead straight horizon, like so. So all I'm going to do, is turn it upside down, which is important, because if you've got it touching the paper, you'll get run back, because it will creep underneath the edge.
Yeah.
So the trick is to turn it upside down, hold it level. You might, if you're really worried, even measure so you get the same amount on both sides, so you don't need a wonky horizon. And now with my hake, I'm just going to wet, like this, running it along the edge of the ruler. Okay. So that's wet, and I can see where that's wet, so I can take that away now. I then get my colour, and with colour C here, you've got an opportunity to use your Tharlow blue, because Tharlow blue, or Windsor blue is actually a Tharlow blue, is a lovely strong greeny blue. And you can make it more green if you want to add a bit of emerald or viridian. But I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine just to give it a bit of depth. So I've got these two colours, and now I'm just looking across the surface to check my damp bit. So now I can put my ruler back over there, and this time I don't press it underneath it. Whoops, something slightly sideways. I've got to go higher. There we go. I'm going to have to tilt it further over. I'm doing this a bit cack-handed. Just come in here and do it. So now I can just run, I don't run the brush up underneath the edge. I literally run it at a slight angle, so I get a nice straight line. And when I move my ruler, I've got some little blips, so I can immediately just dab them back. Doesn't really matter. That's on the paper. But now I can, and because I've damped it, I can now come back with my brush and paint my sea. And then I can do it quite freely. So I can just swing it down, leave a few gaps if I want a bit of, white water. I'll leave a gap. But what's happening naturally is by starting at the horizon and coming down, the colour graduates, so it goes paler. And so actually I'm just picking up water now for the final third of that sea. And you can see it's just starting to run down a little bit. So if you want to control that, just use gravity to stabilise it. I want to bring other colours into it, ochres or whatever. Now's the time. But I think I'm just going to leave it simple. And you can see the intensity of that. Isn't that nice? So again, there's a little bit of movement through the waves. You can, if you want to control it, you can use a little damp brush and follow that with a little bit of movement to create the idea of a... Whoops, I'm putting stuff in the top. So it's down to being quick, getting your colours ready in time, and just working with the flow of the paint. Don't try and fiddle with it though. That could be fatal. So I could make that into deeper rolling waves. I can. There's another little trick I'll show you, because it doesn't really matter what happens to this. And that is if you wrap some tissue around a shorter ruler, in this instance. If you wrap tissue around a ruler, you can do, and I've wrapped it with a little twist in it, so it's not particularly even. See, like that, so it just produces a nice little twist of paper, and then I can do this, and it produces an irregular pattern, like that. It's a trick, really.
That is real trickery.
And then you think, well, it's in a regular pattern. I just want it slightly. So it's the same as lifting your clouds, slightly whiter there. Now, don't go and get a big wash brush and try and go back into it. But if you want to have a slightly brighter highlight, this is actually a Joe Dowden trick to use an oil painting brush effectively. And he does it because one, it's stiffer, and two, it won't hold any excess of water, so you won't get rumbacks. And then you can get a higher contrast there. And it's still damp, so perhaps it's safe to take a second brush.
That's all to do with wetting it first.
It's all to do with wetting it first, and if ever you want flow in the paint, even you can do this with oil paints. Actually, you can just by using a tiny bit of terpsin oil, you can actually pre-damp a surface, wipe it over, and then paint into it to get a really smooth application of paint. And so now, if you want to get a hint of some other colour in the water, this is yellow ochre. I'm not sure it's the right thing to do, but you can put little hints of other colour in. But I think it's a dangerous operation. That's all I'd say to this. So I'm not recommending this. I think I'm showing you what might be possible if you're lucky, not what's possible if you... So I'm going to have to dry that off because I can see it already starting to run. But just putting a hint of something, another colour in there. But it does give you a little sort of bubbling, surfy look. I'm just taking that colour settle. So one simple method for getting a nice crisp horizon, getting the sea bubbling away, or I could have left it perfectly even. If I'd wanted there was a beach lower down, I'd obviously just have stopped, left the space, and probably I wouldn't have damped quite so far. But often it's probably safer to damp more and then come back and control it. So be patient, get everything prepared, and then you've got a chance of winning the sea shore battle. There we go. Thank you for watching.